Hello everybody, it is me, it is Taylor. I am here. I am back with another video. This time it is a Sims building video, which I've done one of these before. Technically I did two of them, but that I split into two. Or one, I did one that I split into two. Anyway, but this was just something, I really wanted to get a video made, and I've been having like, not writer's block obviously, but some sort of like Sims building block. And so I wanted to just get on here and build something and not really try and think about it much, because usually I try and create new things that I never really would create, but this time I just wanted to try something a little different. So basically I based this house, if you go onto the Sims menu right now, like the main menu, there's a house in like the tiny living pack, which I don't have that one, but like there's a picture of stuff you can do with the tiny living, or maybe it's the eco lifestyle, I don't remember, but it has a bunch of windows on it, and so I wanted to use that as a basis for this house. And with all the windows, it made me think of a greenhouse, so I put a little greenhouse in the back, which you'll see more of when we get along there. But I don't usually stick the doors in the corners like that I did right there, but I was trying to get as much in this little space as I possibly could. That's also why I didn't put windows all along the back wall, because I knew I had to put a kitchen in there. And then as you can see right there, I tried to expand the bedroom to make it a little bigger, but then I thought the porch was too big, so I didn't do that. Also, there are going to be parts slightly cut out of this. I didn't include every single thing that I recorded, just because it's already like a half-hour long, and I didn't want it to be super extra long, including when it's already sped up. It was like 2 hours of footage that I had to cut down on. So yeah. And like I said, I based this house off of a little like pre-made house that's in an image on the Sims menu right now, where there's just a bunch of windows. I think it might be like a sun room or plant room or something. I'm not sure, because I didn't click on it, but it was kind of based off this. And it wasn't in the gallery, it was just like on the loading screen. But that dresser that I have right there as well, sorry, I always get out of breath when I film, and I don't know why. But that dresser that I have there, I do eventually move it. I do play test in the end, so you guys can actually use this house. I did put it in my gallery, and it's live on my gallery. So if you want to go see it, my name on Origin is Roliat Keem. It might be Roliat _Keem. I don't remember. I don't remember, but it's one of those two. But I just wanted to do something simple, because usually I always build the same exact type of thing, and then when I try and be creative, I don't really get too creative into it. I get, like I said, writer's block, I guess builder's block. But I keep saying and I'm out of breath. What is wrong with me? Anywho, I decided I always like lots of windows and the like black and white color scheme, or like light neutral colors, but with like actual color. So like that's why I made a blue wall with like the whites and the browns and the grays and the blacks. But I usually try and build stuff that I wouldn't usually build these days, because I feel like I build all the same stuff all the time. But this one actually ended up being pretty cool. I liked it in the end, and I was pretty proud of it. I know it's not the most perfect build ever, but I wanted something a little extra. And again, like I said, that dresser I did have to push back a little bit when I was doing play testing, because the people couldn't get to the other side of the bed. My characters couldn't get to the other side of the bed. So I have fixed that, just so you know. And I've play tested the entire thing, so it all works. The only thing I forgot to play test was the trash can outside that I'll put out there. But you can always just move the plant that I put in front of it, because that's all I did. I put a plant in front of it. But I just wanted to do a little tiny like one bedroom, one bathroom. Pretty simple, with lots of light. And then the greenhouse in the back, like I said. I really liked the landscaping that I did as well, but again, I'm getting ahead of myself. You haven't even seen it yet, because we're still inside. And The main reason that I bought that pack, the family pack, I think that's what it's called. It's not the Parenthood pack, is it? Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it is. But the whole reason I bought that one is so I can have a different type of shower like that, a bath shower, because they don't really have a lot of nice ones in like the base game or anything like that. I have a lot of nice showers in the game, but not really any nice bath showers. You got the one that has just the plain tiles, and then you've got the like clawfoot tub. And in this bathroom, I really wanted a little window up there, but I was struggling. To get exactly the way I wanted, because as you will see, I wanted the sink below the windows, and I couldn't get a freaking mirror to go there the way I wanted it. And I had so much struggles with those windows too, because they kept getting crooked and crooked and crooked, and I couldn't get them to stay straight, because I wanted to be able to fix them the way I wanted to fix them, and it just made everything confusing for me. Yeah, here's me trying to pick a window, or a mirror to go beneath the window, and I was going to leave it like that. And then I thought, no, that looks stupid. So I switched the toilet and the sink around, and hated that as well. So you will see, because I didn't like how the sink went into the wall like it always does when it snaps into place. And so I tried to move it out a little bit, but then the mirror was not even, but then I didn't like the way it was getting too close to the window if I moved it over. So I just kind of had to reconfigure and pick a different window and use the tiny windows that I originally was going to use, and just use those. And then I was able to use the mirror that I wanted. And I don't usually use like the long ways mirrors in a bathroom. I usually use like the vertical ones, not the horizontal ones, but I liked that one in there that way, and it made it a little bit easier, and it went with the windows too. I really do like that shower curtain though, and it went with the blue. I wasn't gonna paint the walls blue in there. I was gonna maybe put a tile wall in there, but the shower curtain that I chose to go with my gray, black, and white scale theme worked pretty well. And I tried to I was going to put that shelf right there in front of the door and over the toilet, but I wasn't sure 100% if the door would open, so I put it on the other wall, the opposite wall. And they can use the shower. Again, I've tested it all except for that dang dumpster that I put outside. But it's pretty simple. All you have to do is move the flowers, which you'll see eventually once we get there. And I play this enough that you would think I would know where to find certain items, but I was trying to find a stupid laundry basket now, and I can't find the freaking basket, but I didn't want the ones that laundry actually goes into, because I wasn't going to put a laundry room in here. So I typed in basket, and that did not work for me. And that's not even the one I wanted. I wanted that cheap one that's like white and wicker looking, but that one looks way better in there as well. And the Sims can still get to the shower. I'm going to say it again. They can get to the shower. They can get to the sink. Yeah. I was actually, like I said, I was pretty proud of this, because I just sat down and I made myself make this. But I was like, I'm just going to do it the way I want to do it. I'm not even going to try and make something that I wouldn't usually build. I'm just going to try and make something that I think is pretty, that I think would be a nice home to live in. Aside from, I mean, I would love to live in a place with that many windows, but I would not want to live right in the middle of the town where people walking right next to the river would see me, people walking right on the street would see me. That would be too much intrusion. Although with this small little area, it was difficult to try and reconfigure how I was going to put the furniture in the living room. I think the living room was the most difficult room to try and figure out, because I didn't want them to walk right into the couch, because that's not exactly the ideal living situation, where you walk in and you run into the couch. So several times I moved the door and to try and get it to the perfect place, because I didn't want the kitchen to be at the door. I didn't want the living room to be at the door. And I hate that there aren't enough coffee tables that are small enough to fit in that little area. because all of them are like the big rectangles or like huge, and the only like small one that you can find is that little glass top one that's supposed to be used in like Get to Work or The Office. I can't remember which pack that's from. Yeah, Get to Work. But I tried to find one that might fit in that area, but then I decided that I thought that chair, the egg looking chair, was super ugly, so I ended up deleting it in the end. So I didn't really need a smaller coffee table. I put the one that I wanted in there anyway, but I still wish we had some more like small like square coffee tables or like smaller rectangle coffee tables. I don't know, but I started to go into a kind of different color scheme there. I started with like the whites and the light sandy colors in the bedroom, and then in the bathroom I went into grays, and then I came out here and tried to follow suit a little, but I just started liking certain things the way they were and kind of just went with it. And I couldn't pick. I was like, do I want the gray scheme? Do I want this wood scheme? And you'll see here in a minute, but I switched I switched back and forth between the gray scheme and the brown wood scheme like 10 like 10 million times. And I actually cut some of me deciding out, because I would say it was like 5 minutes of me sitting there going undo, redo, because I was trying to decide if I wanted to match the living room with the kitchen cabinetry that I chose, or if I just wanted to go with the wood that I liked. And I think I went with a gray, because I originally was going to go with like a white, but I think I went with like a black or a gray. But that TV stand, that's not even a TV stand. That's my favorite TV stand, even though it's not one, because it's more elegant looking. Like the ones that they give you under the TV section, it's like the steampunk chest and like the old timey cabinet, and then there's a third one that I can't remember right this second. Oh, it's like a weird geometric shape, but I don't really like those very much, so I make my own, not custom, but yeah. So yeah, here's where I decided. I was like, ooh, I really like this white and brown color scheme, and I kind of want to make this an entertainment center. That would look cool, even though it's blocking the windows. I just think it looks interesting, and I never put enough like activities and skill stuff for my Sims, so I was like, I'm gonna put some bookshelves in here. That'll give them a little something to do, because I usually just design them as if they're an actual house and never give my Sims anything to do. And yeah, I originally went with the brown, the wood brown, or the white and brown scheme in the living room, but it didn't really go with anything else that I had picked, and I was going to leave it that way, and in the end I changed my mind, because I figured it would be better for it to match than for my heart to be fulfilled, because I really liked the brown. Maybe one day I'll go in and pick a different color for the rest of the house, but to match the brown, which I don't usually like brown, but like that wood, this like sandy wood and the light brown color like that, I really think it looks pretty, especially with that coffee table. Here's my 10th time moving the front door, and I wanted to put a kitchen table in here somewhere, but I figured it would just be easier for an island, because it'd give more counter space and you can still sit down at the island. We don't even have a kitchen table at my house. We just have an island. And I couldn't figure out a place to put the trash can, so I was going to put it out on the back porch, but I ended up fitting it in there at the end of the counter. Eventually. I wish they also had a prettier, this is so trivial, but I wish they had a prettier smoke alarm that you could use. And I wish that they had matching cabinets, because some of those cabinets could match, but the darn hardware, is that what it's called? I was going to say appliances, but that's not. The knobs and handles don't match. They're not the same color. So I ended up just going with one that had similar colored hardware. I think that's the word I'm looking for. Is that the word I'm looking for? I don't know. But yeah, I liked it in the end, the little kitchen. I like doing the kitchens pretty much the most out of everything in the house. My least favorite thing to do, I think, is the bedroom, because bedrooms are so generic. Like, it doesn't really matter what the bedroom looks like, and they don't really... I feel like there's not a ton of options for bedrooms. There's so many different counter combinations you could use, though, for kitchens, and, like, all the little clutter items that you can use. But a lot of the time, if you want to do a bedroom, you kind of have to know your sim that you're building. I know that sounds weird, but you got to know what your sim likes so you can design it the way your sim wants it designed. And I never do anything with like little pictures, crooked pictures like that, but I decided to try something new. Still out of breath. I always liked this picture. It's one of my favorite pictures in the game. And I like how it has the 2 different versions. It'd be cool if it had other versions as well, but I really like it. And here's me. I cut out some of this too because I could not get that stupid fruit bowl to go in the center of the counter, so I tried it about 10 times. And here's me going back and forth between the color coordination and stuff. Like I said, I actually cut some of it out because I just kept going redo, undo, redo, undo, and looking at it and comparing it to the kitchen counters. So yeah, I think I ended up going with that, which I didn't stay on it for very long. Jeez. I ended up going with that gray and black color scheme, and gray, white, and black. So like the monochrome. I think that's what that means. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I was going to go with like a glass for the outside of here because I felt like it was a very modern home with all the windows and everything. But then it ended up looking like too much glass, so I cut some of that out as well. And I tried like all the different glass combinations and settled for the, I don't even know what that's called. The one that has like the little plants on it. I just think it's very modern without trying to be modern. And it's pretty, in my opinion. I like how it has little splashes of green with it. My little greenhouse is just sitting back there all alone. And I did try something new because I don't usually use diagonal buildings or anything like that in the game because I never have a lot that I think would be sufficient for having diagonal rooms and stuff. So that's why I made the greenhouse diagonal, because I wanted to try something new. And when I originally built this, I was going to put a roof over the front porch. But I thought, again, and like it looks a lot more modern without it, and not all porches have a roof. Not all porches have a roof. And I stuck with the gray and the white and the black color scheme outside as well, because I just like that. I just like the modern way that it looks, and it looks nice. It looks well put together. Like, there are very few houses that I build in this game. Like, I'll start to try and build a house that doesn't use, like, these color schemes. And I'll try and use stuff that I never use. And then I'm like, ugh, this is hideous. I'm not going to build it anymore. Like, there's one house, when I first started playing this game, there's one house that I built where I tried to use as many items that I never ever use. Like, I used ugly wood paneling inside. And I used, like, the ugly wooden counter, the ugly wood counters and the ugly wood dining room table. And I mean, it's a really cool build. I like it, but I hate it. And I barely landscaped outside. I put a bunch of like the grass clumps in the backyard, and then I put like a grill and a water hose and like 2 chairs and a tree. That's all I put. Which again, it looks really cool, but it's just not my style. I don't really like it. But I have 2 boys living in it. 2 guys that I built. They're like supposed to be college age, but that was before they came up with university. So they're just 2 dudes. They're roommates. One of them lives in the basement, which the basement is cool. I try to make that a little updated, but again, it's a cool build. I really like it, and I made it have a galley kitchen and stuff, but it's just not my taste. I always try and make stuff that's not really using stuff that I ever use. But again, it always comes back to the stuff that I like, because I just think it looks nicer, it looks sleeker, it looks better. But I guess everybody has their own style, and mine is the black, white, and gray scheme, I guess. And I don't usually layer plants like that, but I've been watching some Sims videos lately where people have been doing that a lot. So I decided I'm going to try. It makes it look a little bit more homey and more lived in if you do it that way, instead of just like one plant in one corner and another plant in another corner. And I originally liked those in the color scheme they were in, like the fall colors, and then I realized, oh, it's autumn leaves, because it's autumn leaves. So I changed it to go with the color scheme as well. I also never put porches. I never put porches on rugs. I never put like big rugs on porches like that. I usually put the little welcome mat, but it just looked kind of plain to me. So I included it in this build because that's what I wanted to do. See? Yep, there I put the trash can. I was able to fit it there. And that's not the trash can that I'm talking about where you might not be able to use it. I'm talking about the dumpster that I will put out in the backyard shortly. I don't know how far along I put it in there, but I put it in there, or out there soon, I guess. Whenever I start landscaping, I believe. And I really like that patio umbrella, that patio table umbrella. The, like, it's not chevron, but like the stripiness. I don't know its terminology. And I spent forever picking out a rug for there too, so I cut that out because you guys don't want to see me going through 10 different round rugs trying to make them fit on that porch. So I just went with the wickery looking one. I think I've only ever built one other greenhouse. And I actually like that build. I think I like the greenhouse that I built for that a little bit better just because I sorted things better. But I also put a lot of pots in it. And this time, which I've tested these, you can plant stuff in all of them. But in my other greenhouses that I've built, I just try and put as many pots as possible, not thinking about how the Sims are going to access the pots. So this time I stuck with simple and just put a few pots in there so that they could get around. And you could probably put more in there and take some of the stuff out, rearrange, make the greenhouse bigger, but I wanted a little greenhouse, and so I put a little greenhouse. I thought it went well with the many windows in the living room. And I kind of skipped a part there as well. I originally put a willow tree, but it was just so gigantic because I never used the willow tree. So I just I think that's an oak tree. So I put the oak tree with the lanterns in it instead because it was just a little smaller. And it vibed better with the whole backyard, I think. And I never shrink trees. But again, I've been watching a lot of Sims videos recently, and they've been shrinking trees. I don't know why I never think to do it. Because I always think the trees are too tall. I also haven't tested the mailbox either. But you should be able to access it because I don't put any plants or anything around it. But I didn't test it long enough to access the dumpster there or the mailbox. I'm pretty sure you can use the mailbox. The dumpster probably not, because again, it gets flowers put around it at one point. So you probably will have to use or move the flowers, but that's fine. Not a big deal. And what I'm doing here, if you look at other Sims builds, like ones that are built by EA and by the Sims developers and stuff, they put like dirt around the houses like that, like for it to have settled in the ground and stuff like that. So I do that with a lot of my builds as well. And this time it actually came out pretty decent because usually it either looks too dark or too light and I hate it. But this time around I actually liked it a lot. It actually came out pretty well whenever I was finished with it in the end. But I took that as a kind of from playing enough where, like, if you notice that other house over there to the side, my next door neighbor, they have like the dirt around the outside, and it just gives it a little bit more definition, makes it look a little more homey, more lived in. And I could not figure out what I wanted to do with this front yard. Usually I put a lot of plants, but I didn't want to put too many plants. Also, if you can hear that noise, that's my fingernail hitting my tooth. I'm just kind of hitting my tooth with my finger. I don't know what I'm doing anymore. But that unkept, do they have a regular shrub? Or do they only have the unkempt one? Kempt one? Because I always use that one because I like that one a lot. But I don't know. I don't know. I never noticed if there's a regular one. I think that's the only one. Da-na-na-na-na. Da-na-na-na. Oh, and another thing that I really like to do is put flowers under trees because it makes it, again, looks a little bit more homey and more generic, less generic. I don't know which one I'm looking for there, but if you put in some rocks and some flowers under everything, just like if you want to, you should always put, well, you shouldn't. I'm not telling you what to do, but in my opinion, I always make darker like soil and stuff where the plants are because it's kind of like a plant bed like that you would have in your front yard or backyard or whatever. So I always make it a little bit darker around where the plants are. Kind of like mulch. Da-da-da. And I kind of wanted to decorate the outside of the greenhouse because it's kind of plain as well. So I put a couple flowers and plants and trees and everything around it. And I really like how you can put the glass roofs on stuff now. Also, now that I'm thinking about it, I couldn't figure out why I didn't like my greenhouse that much on the outside. And it's because I didn't put the eaves, like the different lining around it like I do for this roof later. But when I went back in and play tested and did corrections and stuff, I did add one. So you will see that in like the final images when I get to the end. I wanted to do a lot of plants, but not all of the same plant, because that's usually what I do in a lot of builds. I'll put the same types of plants. But I figured they're kind of gardeny. They got a greenhouse, so they can have a bunch of different plants. Potted plants, non-potted plants. And that aloe, I think that's an aloe plant. What is that little, succulent. The little succulent, I was like, I never use this rarely. I usually use it when I use it when I'm in Oasis Springs, but I try and use certain plants in certain worlds. Like I would never usually use a cactus in Willow Creek. I would usually only use it in like Oasis Springs, but I thought, hey, we're trying some new things this time around. Just trying to make it look like a nice little home. And I usually do a lot of symmetry as well, but I strayed from that as well. I just was like, I like this landscaping, so I'm going to go with this landscaping. And I thought that the roof looked kind of plain, so I tried to put other stuff on it, but I ended up not putting anything there. And we're about to go into looking at the build. And I'll give you guys a little bit more in depth here in just a minute. But showing you the bird's eye view, and then we'll actually go into the house. All right, so now we're inside the house, showing you guys around. In the very last picture, you'll see what I was talking about, where I replaced the eaves in the greenhouse. But if you guys want to download this house for yourself, you can go into the gallery, and my username I looked up is RolyatKeem, all lowercase. It's pretty much my name backwards. Let me know if you guys like this video, if you like this build, because I liked it. I liked making this video, and I hope I can continue to make them and get some inspiration. But yeah, so again, it's RolyatKeem. It's my name backwards, and I hope that you guys have a good day and that you have a good night and that you continue to play The Sims, because it is fun. And goodbye, I guess. Goodbye. Yep, goodbye.